Then today, I was trying to prepare from the Prabhupada's tributes book, but one thing led to another thing, which led to another thing, which led to another thing. And I didn't prepare, but I decided that we could, because today's the first day of Kartik, we could read something about Damodar. And I just downloaded something, which is a commentary. So we can chant one verse and read it, and then we can read the commentary and discuss it. And I gave a class last Friday about the importance of Kartik. So I don't want to go over that too much. And I just made a video also about how to prepare yourself for Kartik. So, but basically, everything you do this month is more powerful, like 1,000 times more powerful. So you want to do, obviously you want to do more devotional service, don't you? If you're going to get 1,000 times benefit, yeah. I'm going to take the security off. It's just a botheration. So if you chant better rounds, you chant more rounds, you read a little more, you do a little austerity, you'll get much more benefit in Kartik. So the idea of Kartik is generally devotees take some vow to do some austerity, do something maybe they don't normally do. Or so austerity can be doing something, and austerity can be not doing something, like giving up your favorite food, giving up your favorite app, or whatever, giving up your favorite form of distraction from Krishna, if you have one. Sounds like a paradox, your favorite form of distraction. So you do that austerity. And then, of course, this is the month that Yosoda bound Krishna. So then it's a meditation on that Lila. And so we were at the temple this morning and I had to wait for my wife. And she was getting ready to address the deities tomorrow. She prepares everything. So that took longer than expected. Then we got home and we're having solar panels installed, because the government has a program that actually give you money to help you put up solar panels, so it doesn't really end up costing you anything. And then they found out that our roof is falling apart and that we're probably going to have to replace the roof soon. And they don't want to put the panels up. So they had to call the roof guy and this and that. So here we are, no time to prepare. So then I had about 10 minutes and then I thought, well, let's get into Damodar. So that's what we're doing. So I will put the verse and translation in the chat. And I'm just going to sing. We can sing it together. And then we're going to read the commentary and discuss it. And then we'll go to the next verse, if we get that far today. Okay. So you can see it in the chat, everyone. It's there. It's there now. Yeah, okay. Namami Sharam Sachiranandarupam Lasat Kunda Lango Kure Vrajamanam Yasharabhiya Lukala Davamanam Param Rishnam Anyan tato druta gopya. Oh, you know what we can do? I finished, I told you that we're working on a Damodar song. I'm kind of in this mood that every holiday I come out with a song. So I finished it last night at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And maybe what we'll do is I'll play you one verse. And we have an English translation for it. So we'll play one verse and then we'll do the English translation. So I just have to bring it up. I think that will add entertainment value to the already amazing classes that we have every day. Hare Krishna. I can't say they're amazing. I have to be humble, but it'll add a sweetness and rasa, I think. And then you get to hear. We're just making a video for it, so we're not going to release it till the video is ready. Okay. See if we can pull this off. With all my experience on Zoom, it's my super slow connection here. You can sing along with this. I'm just going to play a second. I just want to make sure you can hear it. Can you hear that? Yes? Namami Sharan Sachiranam Rupam Lasat Kunda Lango Kuleva Jamanam Jasorabia Lukala Davamanam Param Rishnam Anya Tato Druta Gopya Druta Gopya. After you still butter, your earrings dance and shine as you flee your mother in Gokula pastimes. Though you are all blissful, all-knowing, ever new, greatest of controllers, but your mother controls you. You could hear that? Yes? Yeah. Okay. So that's, you want to hear more, right? You will hear the next verse when we finish this. Let's read the translation here. This is the actual translation. And then you have the actual translation. To the Supreme Controller who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokul, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yosoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. So, first thing we understand about Krishna Lila is that he performs his Leelas to give happiness to his devotees. You know, I think, oh, he's stealing, you know, like what's up with that? He's stealing. He's God and he's stealing. Why is he doing that? And he's has butter at home, so he doesn't need to steal. And he's God, so he could create butter out of anything, right? He could create butter off a tree if he wanted. He could plant butter trees if he wanted. So to become Krishna conscious, to develop love of Krishna, we we need to understand what makes Krishna happy, what gives him pleasure, and why he does things. And obviously, you can't understand it materially, but even materially speaking, in relationships in this world, we need to understand people in order to relate to them, in order to love them, and so forth, isn't it? So part of being Krishna conscious or becoming Krishna conscious is to understand why Krishna does what he does, why he says what he says. And so this pastime was not only, but primarily to give pleasure to Mother Yosoda, but as a consequence, it gives pleasure to all the gopis of Vrindavan. And then as a further consequence, which Krishna is entirely aware of, this pastime gives pleasure to anyone who hears it. So even though we weren't there, it's almost like we are there because we're entering into it by hearing about it, because the Leelas are absolute. So by hearing about it, it's the same. Whether we understand that, that's another thing, but it's actually the same as being there. So now he performs this Lila to give happiness to his mother and performs pastimes like a child, crying and running out of fear from his mother, because that's what children do. And she wants to relate to Krishna as a child, so he perfectly reciprocates by doing all these things that children do. Complaining, being naughty, crying, being afraid of his mother, becoming angry at his mother, like that. So one of the things it shows that whatever it is that we want in this world in relationships, Krishna will give that. He'll reciprocate if you have that with him. You know, we all want families and lovers and so forth. And if that's what we want with Krishna, then he'll give it to us, but he'll give it to us in grand style, in a way that could never happen here, and happiness and that we could never get. So that's something to understand about Krishna, that he understands his devotees and he's always thinking how he can satisfy their desire to love him. So you probably know the story that Krishna would go to the homes of the neighbors and sneak in and steal butter. And then those women would come and complain. So your son is coming to our house. He's stealing milk products. Don't you feed him? Doesn't he have enough here? At first, Mother Yosoda didn't believe them. It didn't make sense. And he would do that. He says, why would he do that? And the cows, apparently the cows she had were better than the cows anyone else had. So their milk products were better, sweeter, richer, creamier. So when Mother Yosoda is finally convinced, she wants to chastise Krishna, and then all the gopis say, don't chastise him. They look at Krishna's face and they melt with love, and so they couldn't tolerate being chastised. So now Krishna not only is interacting with Mother Yosoda, but he's interacting with all the gopis and giving them transcendental pleasure. And of course, you know, they're complaining to Mother Yosoda, but they know it's their great fortune that Krishna is at their home stealing butter. I mean, if Krishna, wouldn't it be worth Krishna coming to your home, even if you had to let him steal? Of course, yeah, and of course everything is his anyway. What could he steal? But in theory, if he's coming to steal, that's a great blessing. Not in theory. If he's coming to steal, it's a great blessing. So, just going to look at the translation once more. Yeah. So Krishna has Lasa Kundalam, earrings that are glistening, right? So all you ladies, some men, you like to wear earrings. It makes you look more beautiful, right? With Krishna, it's the opposite. When he puts on the earrings, it makes the earrings look more beautiful next to him. He's already beautiful, so I don't like, the earrings aren't going to make a significant dent in his beauty, but they look a lot more beautiful. Of course, Krishna looks more beautiful with earrings, but really they look more beautiful. And possesses an eternal blissful form, Satchidananda Vigraha. And so this is important and interesting, that everything in the spiritual realm is Satchidananda Vigraha. It's conscious, it's eternal, and it's blissful. And so, the concept of unhappiness or fear, unhappiness is a result of being influenced by the modes of nature. Fear comes from the fact that we are temporary, or the body's temporary. And ignorance is pretty normal here. So we don't know everything. We don't know a lot of things, not even close to everything. We hardly know anything. And we know a lot of things wrong. We wrongly know many things. Or maybe we wrongly know more things than we rightly know. We think we know a lot that we don't know. What's the real story on this? Let's get to the real story behind this pandemic. What's the real story? Who created it? Who planned it out? What lab? Who really knows the exact story, right? And then you'll read a book on it, and read another book and another book, and you get different stories. So, did they even plan it out? Where was it from? So, in the transcendental realm, if you're worried about going there and maybe not liking it and being stuck there for eternity, worry no longer, ladies and gentlemen, because everything there is composed of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, so nothing could go wrong. And you definitely will not feel antsy and itchy to get back here, I can guarantee you. That's like, going from Siberian winter to a nice spring in Hawaii. You probably wouldn't want to turn back when you got to Hawaii and go back to Siberia. So something like that. So just try to understand the concept. The nature of the spiritual realm is that it's comprised of bliss. It's not like you have to find bliss, ananda. That's what it's made of. Try to get that through. That's a very interesting idea. It's made of ananda. Like here, nothing's made of ananda. So we have to manipulate to get ananda, isn't it? Got to put the right amount of spice and the salt and eat it on the right plate in the room at the right temperature with your best friends, with the best, nice table, nice atmosphere, everything nice. And then you get some pleasure for a half hour. And then after that, you get tired and fall asleep or get a stomach and your mind clogs up because you ate too much. So that's how it works here. It's just, adjustments within the modes of nature. And if you can get it up to sattva, you'll experience some happiness, but it's not built in. There it's built in. That's what it's made of. Everything's made of ananda. Your body's made of ananda. Your whole existence is made of ananda. It's made of knowledge and it's eternal. So that's like the building blocks of spiritual existence. So, and that's what all the bodies are made of. And of course, Krishna's body is made of that. You say, I feel blissful when I hug you. Well, when you hug Krishna, you'll understand the full meaning of I feel blissful when I hug you. His body's made of bliss. Okay. Now we see here, he was running from his mother, guilty, caught as guilty. Well, he was running from his mother because he broke, not because he was stealing, but he broke. And he was caught. And it says here he was running in fear. And as we said before, what is this fear? That my mother is going to use that stick she's holding. She has a stick. She never, ever had held a stick. We don't generally recommend holding sticks to kids. Yeah, you could end up in prison for that. But she was coming down to see this big mess that Krishna created, or, what's going on down there. And there was a stick on the stairway. And she thought, Nanda Maharaj's stick, I'm going to pick up that stick just to show it to Krishna because he's been naughty. So she was punishing him because he broke the pot. He was angry because she put him down while she was breastfeeding. So she's like, she was thinking we had to punish him. And then she was thinking, if I don't tie him up, he's going to break more pots. He was angry. Sometimes when kids are angry, they have tantrums and they break things. So Damodar, or pre-Damodar, it wasn't Damodar yet. He had a tantrum, so to speak. And he broke the pots, yogurt pots or butter pots, ghee pots, or all of them. So Yosoda thought, you can't let this kid, he's in a bad mood. You can't let him run around. He'll break all the pots. We have to tie him up. And so to make sure she could get her job done, when she saw this stick, she was up, going down into the courtyard where he was, she saw Nanda Maharaj's stick. She said to herself, I will pick up this stick and show it to Krishna. She never had an intention of using it. She said, I will show it to Krishna just to keep everything in order. Just so he doesn't get out of order, I will show him the stick. And then it's described, Krishna became afraid because Mother Yosoda had never carried a stick before. She had never punished him. And he thought she was going to use that stick. So he was afraid, right? As Kunti Devi said, fear personified fears you, but you're afraid of Mother Yosoda. How did that happen? All in a day's work, all in the work of a Lila. So we had discussed this before, and I think we had just discussed it maybe last week, or maybe that was in another class, but in the class on Yoga Maya and Maya, we had discussed how Yoga Maya works. And so the question that always comes up is, does Krishna ever forget that he's God? And if he's all-knowing, how could he forget that he's God? Like is he just a really good actor? The source of all great actors? Do we have to give him an Academy Award or an Emmy or some acting award because he did such a good job of playing like he was afraid and crying? No, you don't have to give him an acting award because Yoga Maya caused him to forget. So he forgot who he was. His Vishnu forms, fortunately, didn't forget. If they forgot, the whole universe would crumble. But that's all on autopilot. So he can forget his position. So he forgets his position. And he thinks, this is my mother with a stick. So he was actually afraid. And that's described later in the song, but it's described here as well. And he's running out of fear because he no longer knows that he's God. And why? And then the next question is, well, if he sometimes forgets he's God, how could he forget? Because he would be the one causing to forget. So if he caused himself to forget, he would remember that he caused himself to forget, and he would remember that he's God. So it wouldn't work. But it doesn't work that way. He doesn't cause it. Yoga Maya causes it. So Yoga Maya knows what Krishna wants. And when she knows that he wants to engage in a Lila like this, to give pleasure to Yosoda, then it's necessary that he forget his position. And so, because she knows that, she does that. And so automatically, It like clicks in. He remembers and forgets as is needed for the Lila. And what does it mean, needed for the Lila? Needed to give the greatest pleasure to Yasoda and the devotees and to make the Lila sweet and relishable. So automatically, Yogamaya will cover him when it's needed, and he'll forget who he is. And he's just Krishna, and that's Yasoda. And that's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. That's the ultimate. Prabhupada said, some people say, what if Krishna's not God? Prabhupada said, even if he's not, we still love him. So that's the, residents of Braj. Being God is not really an issue. They do their worship of Narayan and other devatas. But as far as Krishna being God, that's not really on the menu. So it's just, he's Krishna, he's my son, or he's my friend. That's it. It's nothing else. So then Krishna, by the agency of Yogamaya, can completely reciprocate by becoming the friend or the son or the lover and forgetting everything else. So when you go back to Godhead, it's not like, oh, Krishna, you're God, how can I have this intimate relationship? It's not like that. Not in Goloka. In Vaikuntha, yes. In Vaikuntha, there's awareness that he's God, and then therefore it's all reverential worship, or at most reverential friendship. It's a little more intimate than reverential servitude, but that's as high as it goes in Vaikuntha. And so there's always an awareness that this is the Supreme Lord. And there's always an etiquette, like we do in deity worship. There's always an etiquette to follow. But in Braj, that etiquette is gone because they don't relate to Krishna as God. They don't know he's God. And even if he is, they don't care. It's like, he may be God. He may not be God. He's our friend. We don't care. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're God. Okay, whatever. Let's go, let's go to the Jamuna. It's like that. It doesn't matter. Isn't that interesting? So you remember the pastime of the cowherd boys. They say, Krishna, close your eyes, open your mouth. We have a big surprise for you. How does that go? Open your mouth and close your eyes, and you will get a big surprise. This is a little nursery rhyme in America. So the boys do that, and Krishna closes his eyes, and they put a flower in his mouth, play jokes on him. So, in deity worship, you wouldn't put a flower in Krishna's mouth, and you wouldn't do the things the cowherd boys do. But in their relationship, Krishna is just their friend or their lover or their son. So we are going to read a commentary. Should I post this commentary? We can read along. You can see, since I've got a lot of experience now with from doing all the japa retreats with Zoom. I think I'm Zoom realized now pretty much. I can live stream it onto Facebook. When Zoom first came out, it was like, how do you do anything? It's like, oh, you do this and that. Oh, I can't do it. It's like, and then the great lesson to learn is nothing is complicated. You just have to learn how to do it. But it kind of looks complicated in the beginning, but you're speaking of one language, or some of you speak two or three. That's way more complicated than learning some software. Okay. So we're going to read. Bowing before Sri Damodar Ishvara, who is accompanied by Sri Radha, I now commence my purport of Damodarastakam entitled Dig Darshini. Darshini means to see. Dig means, as far as I know, it means direction. But it may mean something else. Let's see. Anyway, it probably means something else. But darshan means to see. Philosophy is also called darshan, and then commentary, helping us see. In the beginning of the Mula shloka, Mula means root, this first shloka, the very first intention is expressed by the word namami, I bow down. Obeisances are thus offered with love and devotion before commencing the description of the Lord's specific characteristics of excellence that are exhibited by his tattva, rupa, lila, guna, and so forth. So first thing, when you approach Krishna, you bow down before. For you see in the prayers, you could read so many prayers in Bhagavatam. First thing is, I offer you my obeisances. The first thing, and glorifying him. So before he's going to describe anything, Nama Ishvara, my obeisances, Nama to Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. Also mentioned is the essence of his own divine supremacy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested in Gokul, and also his distinctive features as the origin of all, Supreme Lord, Supreme Controller. Furthermore, the word namami is indicative of an auspicious invocation, mangalartam. At the start of all functions, it is customary to offer respects to Ishvara, which expresses an attitude of devotional service unto the Lord. For this reason, obeisances are offered unto the Lord, first unto the Lord in this verse. Yeah. Like Prabhupada's prana mantra, Namaste Saraswati, my obeisances to you, O servant of Saraswati. So that's common. Nama Om, my obeisances. Now the commentator Sri Srila Sanatana Goswami examines Tattva Vishesha, or the excellence of the Lord's truth. Obeisances unto whom? Unto Ishvara. This looks like a commentary on the commentary. Unto Ishvara, the Supreme Controller, namely he who is Sarva Shaktiman, endowed with all potencies, Jagateka Nath, the only Lord of the universe, and Nija Prabhu, my own master. In the first instance, he is addressed as such in order to obtain the power of Shakti needed to offer the prayer. In the second instance, he is addressed as such to indicate that he is the one and only Lord who is praiseworthy. In the final instance, he is addressed as such to signify the specific nature of bhakti or devotion. How is it manifest? As Satchit Ananda Rupam, or a form composed of compressed clouds of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. This is the statement of his supremacy. Of his supreme sovereignty in regard to Tattva Vishesha, attribute of excellent truth. So, to put that in a more easily digestible way, he's analyzing the prayer, and so Namam Ishvara is the Lord of the universe. Nama, my obeisances. He is Namam Satchidana. He has all Shaktis, and he is my own master. Yeah. And so he's saying that this song was written by Satyavrata Muni, and because he wants to glorify Damodar, he wants the power, he wants to have the ability to glorify Damodar. He's saying first, he's offering obeisances so that he can get the power to offer these prayers properly. Because, it's possible to offer prayers which are not pleasing to Krishna or not beautifully composed, not insightful of Siddhanta, not in consideration of rasa and so forth. So by offering obeisances, we say, We say Nama Om or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namaste Saraswati Devi. And there's so many Nama Oms or Om in prayers. So it's a mood that's being created to feel like that I feel like in order to be able to offer prayer, I need empowerment, enlightenment. Otherwise, I can't do it. So that's how it works. You know, in the story of Dhruva Maharaj was young when he met the Lord, and the Lord blessed him by putting his conch shell on his head. And at that point, Dhruva began to recite these beautiful prayers. Of course, in those days, everything was recited in Sanskrit, which is apparently takes 12 years to master the grammar. He was only a young boy, and it's said that he was reciting these amazing prayers, just like beautifully composed prayers, because that conch shell went on his head and he got empowerment. So it's kind of like that. I want to offer the proper prayer. So Krishna, please empower me to do that. That's the idea. And then he also wanted to glorify Krishna as the one who has the potencies and is the Lord of the universe and is my master. Yeah. Yeah. So he is my master. That's the meaning of bhakti. What does master mean? Whatever the master desires, I do it. Did you ever think about how sometimes it's extremely difficult to not be selfish, to actually do, to give up what you want to do and do what someone else wants? You ever been in a situation where you didn't want to do what someone else wanted you to do? You remember that? How difficult it was? You really wanted to do one thing. They wanted or needed or demanded you to do another thing. And it was very difficult. Yeah. So here, it's said in the purport that he's indicating that bhakti means fulfilling Krishna's will. And for those devotees who are pure, fulfilling Krishna's will is not a problem. It's only a problem for those who are not pure. Because those who are not pure want to fulfill their own will, right? So then fulfilling Krishna's will becomes a problem. Oh, I don't want to do that. Why do I have to do that? I want to do what I want to do. Exactly. And that's why we're still in the material world, because we want to do what we want to do. And as long as we want to do what we want to do, we're going to stay here. And you know why we're going to stay here? So we can do what we want to do. Because if you go up there, it's what Krishna wants. And in our material misunderstanding, we think, oh, that's going to have to live eternally as doing what someone else wants. How's that going to work? Well, you've basically been living almost what seems like an eternity here, doing what you want, and that didn't work. So why would you doubt it's going to work the other way around? So yeah, but the nature of bhakti is that it's all about, the nature of bhakti is there's not even a tendency for selfishness. It's not part of your consciousness. There's no place for it in your consciousness, because the relationship that we have with Krishna is enriched more and more by our service to him according to what he wants. And as we're doing that, it's becoming more and more enriched. So your mind doesn't think, well, nah, let's stop doing this. This is not working. You don't think that way because it's working. Only you would think that way if it's not working, because being conditioned, it may not work. But otherwise, nobody would think that way. Okay. Now, we have to bring you back, all right, to the screen. Now, Rupa Visesha, the excellence of his beauty, is described. His distinct excellence of beauty is illustrated as follows. Lasanti, the swinging of his earrings, was manifested when he ran away in fear of Yashoda. Or also, his earrings sport upon his cheeks as a result of his continuously playing in the transcendental pastimes of childhood. Thus, his divinely splendorous face is especially portrayed. Or also, yet another meaning of Lasat Kundalam is, due to the Mahashobhagya, or great fortune, of personally kissing his divine cheeks, these earrings have attained a position of super excellence above all other ornaments. So now, let's say you're a gopi and you want to kiss Krishna, but you can't because you already have your own husband, or you're not married. You can't do it. It's not right. And then you see these earrings. These earrings are living entities. They're not just inanimate objects. They're living entities. And they're kissing his cheeks because they're swinging. And you're looking at the earrings and you're thinking, I can't even do that. And the earrings are so fortunate, they're kissing Krishna's cheeks. What do you think of that? So they're looking at the earrings and they're thinking, wow, you're the most fortunate of all Krishna's ornaments. You're the most fortunate because you get to kiss his cheeks. Like the gopis were apparently envious of the bamboo, because from bamboo you make flutes, and so some of his flutes are made of bamboo. And excuse me, light here. And where does Krishna put his lips? He puts his lips on the bamboo. Correct? So, seems the gopis are jealous of the bamboo. That's what it seems like. That's what they say. So these so-called inanimate objects are not inanimate, and the gopis are seeing Krishna's kissing the flute. The earrings are kissing his cheeks, and they're thinking, wow, they're so fortunate, more fortunate than we are. And this super excellence also, I'll go back so this makes sense. Yet another meaning of Lasat Kundalam is due to Mahasabhogya, or great fortune. The great fortune of personally kissing his divine cheeks, these earrings have attained a position of super excellence above all other ornaments. All his other ornaments. And this super excellence also indicates the fortune of the other ornaments adorning his various limbs. So would you like to be an ornament? Would you like to eternally be a bracelet on Krishna's arm? And you're thinking, a bracelet? I don't want to be a bracelet. No, not just an ordinary bracelet, a bracelet on Krishna's arm. And you'll say, no, I want to be a gopi. Okay, that's a good answer. But these ornaments are not material. Furthermore, Lasanti indicates that these earrings are glistening because they are enriched with the splendorous effulgence of the Lord's bodily complexion. Therefore, Krishna's body is the ornament of his ornaments. This is the meaning. Consequently, it is stated by the gopis in the 10th canto, 1029-40. O Krishna, by seeing your beauty, which attracts the three worlds. These cows, birds, trees, and deer are all experiencing their hairs standing on end. What is the wonder then if we are also bewildered? All right. Have you ever seen someone who's really beautiful or was made up so well that they look really beautiful? When you saw them, did your hair stand on end? Did your voice choke? Did tears shoot from your eyes like torrents of rain? Probably not. All right. Something happened. Maybe a reflection of this happened. Something happened. So imagine Krishna's beauty, which is millions of times greater than the beauty of anyone in this world. Yeah, actually, we can't imagine. Okay, I take that sentence back. Don't try to imagine. That's what I want to. We cannot imagine. But if we could imagine, it would be like that. You know, the great, most beautiful, stunning, we say, he is stunning, she is stunning, that their clothes are stunning. Stunning means it's so beautiful. You get stunned. Yeah. Okay. In the third canto, Bhagavatam 3.2.12, it is also stated by Sri Uddhava to Vidura, excuse me. Regarding Sri Krishna's beauty, quote, Sri Krishna's beauty is so enchanting that it even astonishes himself. That beauty represents the supreme zenith of great opulence, so much so that he is actually the ornament of his ornaments. Did we just read that? I went to bed late and got up early, and you know, if you're a little tired, the brain kind of runs like a car going up a hill, an old truck going up a steep hill. Yeah, that's how my brain feels right now. So please excuse me. Now, the parivara visesha, or attributes of his family, portray his unique excellence. The word Gokule indicates the place where gopis, gopas, cows, calves, and so forth reside. The word Brajamanam indicates a particularly befitting place wherein he can manifest an excellence that surpasses that of previous Lilas. Moreover, he is splendorous. He is splendorous because only in Gokul does he manifest his swabhavika shobha, or natural characteristics of brilliance. It is stated in the 10th canto, 10:32:14. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who sits upon the asana formed in the lotus-like hearts of the Siddha yogis, manifesting a body that is the abode of all splendor of the three worlds. He sat upon the asana presented by the gopis, was worshipped by them, and thereby radiated even more splendor. So, the childhood pastimes do not take place in Goloka, only in Gokul, only down here. And so we are fortunate in that we have access to these pastimes that don't go on there. And therefore it is said that the childhood pastimes are the most attractive, sweetest. And it's only in Vrindavan that he exhibits this sweetness. Outside of Vrindavan, it's the wrong place. But in Vrindavan, it's the most rasa, the greatest sweetness, the greatest intimacy, the highest level of relationship happens in Vrindavan. And so now, by observing this Lila, we get to understand something about these high levels of bhakti that are exhibited there. Mm. His excellence of, His excellence of Lila Vishesha, or attributes of his pastimes, are stated in the last two lines of the verse. The word Yasoda indicates Yashoda, Yashodaya, or from his mother Yasoda. Bia indicates the fear of being punished for his offense of breaking the yogurt pots, stealing fresh butter, and so forth. So that means it's not just yogurt. It's yogurt, butter, and so forth. All the milk products he could get his hands on. Ulu kalat denotes from the mortar. In order to steal the fresh butter suspended from the rafters, he took a large wooden grinding mortar that was kept in the same storeroom, turned it on end, and climbed on it. But spotting his mother coming into the room with a stick in her hand, he immediately gets down again, the Vamanam. He speedily runs away. In this regard, if one desires to know the particulars of this pastime, can be found in the 10th canto, chapter 9, text 8 and 9. Yes. So I think we discussed all this already. Oh, yes. So sometimes Prabhupada would talk about Krishna stealing, or some quality of Krishna that seems to be wrong, bad, immoral, unethical, however you look at it. Certainly stealing comes in that category. So in talking about Krishna stealing, Prabhupada would say, Krishna likes to steal. He also likes to fight. And then Prabhupada would pose a rhetorical question. He said, where do you think we got our stealing tendency or fighting tendency from? And so my joke is, when you go to court, you said, not my fault. You should put God on trial because he likes to steal, I like to steal. If he didn't like to steal, I wouldn't like to steal. So you can't blame me. I'm just in the image of God and he steals. So I'm a thief. It's just natural. Of course, you can't say that, although I would think someone somewhere in the future will say that. But that's the implication. That's the implication that Prabhupada gave, that any human tendency is a tendency that Krishna has. Of course, it may, for us, it may come out in very perverted ways, for sure. But the fact that we have those tendencies is because he has them. We couldn't have them if he didn't. And the beauty of Krishna is that he can manifest the worst things in the purest way, right? And that's what he does. And, you might think more logically, well, if Krishna wants to attract people, why would he do things like this? Because average person will just look at this as debauchery, immorality, and how are we going to believe in a God who's immoral? That doesn't make sense, does it? I've got to do something about this sun. Hold on a second. Sun, I'm going to do something about you right now. Okay. See, we controlled the sun. You didn't know I could do that, did you? How powerful I am. There's a story like that. I forget exactly what the story was. Something about her husband was going to die at sunset. And by her chastity, she was able to keep the sun from setting. You know that story? She actually controlled the sun. It's like the sun's supposed to set. It's like, It's like sunset for the last 3 hours. What's going on? She's holding the sun by her, demand. You cannot set until this situation is resolved, or something. There's a few stories about sun setting and sunset being delayed for a while. Okay. Should we go to the second verse? There's already time for questions. Let's first go to questions and see. Maybe we only get one verse done a day. If there are questions, I don't know. Okay. Maya says, thank you for explaining this about the spiritual world. I was wondering, what is the opposite positive word for feeling, for anxiety? Because Vaikuntha is a place with no anxiety. The opposite word is spiritual anxiety. So it's the same point. If Krishna steals, if we steal, it's because he steals. So do they steal in the spiritual world? Well, it was like Prabhupada was asked if there are mosquitoes in the spiritual world. And he said, well, they don't bite. So you think, oh, no, I'm not going back to the spiritual world. I don't like mosquitoes. Well, don't worry, they don't bite. Is there envy in the spiritual world? Yeah. I don't want to go back there. There's envy there. Yeah, there's envy. But it has no material quality to it. So it's envy which increases your love. It's anxiety which increases your love. Yosoda, she was always in anxiety about Krishna. She was so in anxiety when he was first herding the calves. He'd go out with his boyfriends. What was her anxiety? Not so much that he would not be safe, but that he wouldn't be around. It was separation anxiety. So was she in anxiety? Yes. Was the anxiety blissful? Yes. Is the anxiety in this world blissful? No. Do we like envy in this world? Is it pleasing? No. Is envy pleasing in the spiritual world? Yes, because it doesn't have any material quality. It's only impelling and nourishing bhakti. So everything's there in the spiritual world. You think you're going to get out of anxiety, you're going to be eternally in anxiety. But the word anxiety actually is not a bad word. It comes from anxious, being anxious. Now, we use the word anxious. I'm anxious to indicate a negative emotion. But you might be anxious because you're going on vacation. I'm so anxious to go. We're leaving tomorrow. That means you're excited. You're looking forward to it. So, so we're in anxiety in the spiritual world. What are we in anxiety about? Well, Krishna's walking barefoot and his soft feet are touching the ground and there's pebbles and thorns. So we're in anxiety about that, right? So when we ask these questions, does this, and this exist in the spiritual world? The answer is we are all living, conscious entities. Therefore, if there's living conscious entities, consciousness exists. And where there's consciousness, there'll be anxiety. There'll be envy. There'll be all these things. They just won't be bad. So that'll be good to go there, don't you think? Like nothing's bad. Even the anxiety's not bad. You don't need psychotropic drugs to reduce your anxiety. You don't have to take lithium to, if you can, oh no, ecstatic symptoms, take him to the mental hospitals. No, it's not like that. What happened to him? Did he lose his mind? Yeah, he did. And everyone's thinking, wow, prema, that's good. That's what happens in prema. You lose your mind. So everybody's losing their mind. So, the first law of the land is when you're trying to understand the spiritual world. Don't try to understand it from a material perspective. Yes, Prabhupada does make comparisons, just like in this world, but it's just a comparison to get a general idea, but it's different, right? So yes, everything is there in the spiritual world. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be in anxiety eternally. Sorry for the bad news today. But it's not bad news. That anxiety will just be bringing you closer to Krishna. So, sound good? You ready for the anxiety? I joined ISKCON to become free from anxiety. Sorry, joined the wrong movement. As soon as we get our hands on you, we're going to engage you in so much service, you're going to be in anxiety all the time. I don't have any time. Good, and you won't get into trouble. I'm in so much anxiety, I don't have time for anything. Good. That's our program. As soon as we get time for everything, that everything destroys us. Spiritual life it sometimes makes us seem like we're actually crazy, doesn't it? I'm so stressed, I have no time. I don't even have time to go on Facebook. Wow, that's a good problem. So one of the funniest stories ever, and I've told it numerous times, but I'm sure some of you have not heard it. There was a leader in our movement, he wanted to take sannyas, and Prabhupada was inclined to give sannyas to leaders. And he asked him, he said, is it okay with your wife? He said, yeah, it's okay. So Prabhupada agreed. He hadn't even talked, the husband had not talked to his wife about it. So the word came to her through the grapevine, through other people, that your husband's going to take sannyas. So if I understand the story correctly, he was in Vrindavan and she was maybe in Mayapur or somewhere else. She was really upset. She had not given her permission. Maybe that was his assumption that she would be happy, get rid of him. She didn't like him. Maybe he thought, she doesn't really like me. Whatever he thought, I don't know. But she didn't agree. So she hopped on a train, came huffing and puffing, storming into Prabhupada's room. And you know what she said? She said, I am so upset by this. Right now, I hate everybody and everything. And you know what Prabhupada said? You know, what is the politically correct thing to say? Oh, I'm so sorry that you feel this way. You must be really stressed out right now by the situation. That's the politically correct thing, be empathic. So she's saying, I hate everyone and everything. This is like, my life is over. I don't want to live, is basically what she's saying. And you know what Prabhupada said? He said, oh, very good. You're making spiritual advancement. They hate everything and everybody. Come into the temple one day and go, I hate everybody. I hate everything. I hate this world. It's just horrible. I don't want to be here anymore. And everyone will say, you're making advancement. And an ordinary person will say, call an ambulance, take her to the mental hospital, right? So spiritual life is in many ways completely opposite of material life, or it can be sometimes. What would be deemed as something we wouldn't want could be desirable spiritually. Not that you should hate everybody and everything, but if you come to a point just like what's the use of living, not that you kill yourself, what's the use of material living? He said, oh, you're making advancement. And he said, you're like Arjuna, you've come to Arjuna's point, like, I give up. So, yeah. So Vaikuntha means without anxiety, without material anxiety, but there's always anxiety to do more service for Krishna. And that other story I told, I must have told it recently. It's such a funny story. You remember this story where the devotees in Toronto were looking at a church and Prabhupada saw it, but Prabhupada felt the price was too high. And he felt like if we get to church, then we're just buying this anxiety of an expensive building, the anxiety of having to pay it off. We'll be buying financial anxiety. So that the devotees thought, well, that's all, it's over. We're not going to get it. And then later on, Prabhupada asked the temple president, did you get the building? And he said, no, Prabhupada, we don't want to buy anxiety, because that's what Prabhupada told him. Don't get the building. We don't want to buy anxiety. We don't want to buy the stress of a big overhead. So somehow or other, I don't think I would have done it like this. But maybe he just felt he was just reiterating what Prabhupada told him. No, Prabhupada, we don't want to buy anxiety. And then Prabhupada said, there must be anxiety in Krishna's service. Otherwise, what? You'll just sleep and eat, isn't it? You ever done that? You ever gone through a whole day when you say, what did I do today? You said, well, I slept, and then I ate, and then I slept some more, and then I did my social media, and then I ate again, then I fell asleep again. You ever have a day like that where you look back and you're like, what did I do today? Well, that's why Prabhupada said, there must be anxiety. Otherwise, simply sleep. Nothing to do, just sleep, right? So then I told another story where Bhaktisiddhanta had his disciples collect money for a project, and then he spent it on another project. And so then he said, we need money for this project. And they said, we already collected. And he said, no, I gave it to another project. And so Prabhupada was explaining this. I mean, generally, you don't tell people we're collecting money to build a temple and then you take it and buy a few vans for Sankirtan. You have to tell them what generally, whatever you collect for, that's what you spend for it. But he somehow or other spent it on something else. So he had them go out again and collect for the original project. And when they said, but we already collected for that project, he said, yes. It was spent on something else. And Prabhupada said he always wanted to keep them in anxiety, not that they would become slack. Oh, we collected all this money, so I just stay back today and relax and watch the latest podcast, take a little nap, like that. So Prabhupada was, not against anxiety. In fact, in many ways, thought it was necessary. I mean, obviously, spiritual anxiety. Too much material anxiety is not good, for sure. Okay. But that material anxiety is hard to avoid, isn't it? Especially after you get married, it's really hard to avoid. And that was not a joke. It's just a fact, Or not only marriage, but anytime you enter any kind of close relationship, even guru and disciple, any, friends, any close relationship, it creates anxiety because some time or at some point, someone's not going to be happy about something you did. And sometimes someone's not going to be happy about something you didn't do. What did I do to upset you? You didn't do anything. It's what you didn't do. And you're like, what was I supposed to do that I didn't do? You were supposed to do this. And it's like, I didn't know that. I don't think like that. Well, you should have known. It's human interaction, right? It's full of anxiety, isn't it? It's like, okay, I should have known, but I didn't know. You're going to let me out of jail this time only. If it happens again, back in jail. That's that. One time Prabhupada said, he said, you will always be in anxiety. Just a question about what you're going to be in anxiety about. Are you in anxiety about sense gratification? If you're going to get enough sense gratification in this lifetime, if you're going to get enough happiness in this life, you're going to be safe. People are going to like you. You're going to get coronavirus, maybe cancer. I spoke to a devotee yesterday and she was preparing to get cancer. I said, why are you preparing to get cancer? She says, everybody gets it. I just want to be ready when I get it. I said, I don't think that's a good idea, but that's the way the world works, right? Okay, so Tanya says, every time I order an outfit online for my deities, I end up a bit disappointed by its quality and appearance, and I think it's not going to be nice enough for them. And then after I offer it to them, I suddenly start liking what it looks like. Thought that was a coincidence, but now I understand it's them who make the outfit beautiful. Yeah. And you also become beautiful by looking at them. Yes, Chopper Retreat Level 2. If you haven't signed up, you still have till Saturday morning to sign up. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. I'm not saying I'm amazing. I'm saying the holy name's amazing. And if I can help you in any way experience the amazing nature of the holy name, then I can say it's going to be amazing. So, Malgor Jata, aka Krishna Karshani, says, did I say it right? Krishna Karshani? Malgor Jata, Malgor Jata. A pure devotee can be selfless and doesn't have to consider his own desires and needs. What about us not pure devotees? What about us not pure devotees? Is being selfless possible for us? A little bit, not a lot. And what about being healthy, selfish, protecting ourselves from being abused? I was thinking this morning, what if Krishna came up to you and said, if you're willing to suffer eternally, I will liberate all living entities in this world. What would you say? It's an ethical dilemma. You'll have to suffer eternally. And I was thinking of Jesus on the cross or, being tortured. But if you're willing to do that, then all living entities will go back to Godhead. Wow. And I was thinking, how many devotees, how many people are there on the planet that would actually say, yes, I can do that? I mean, we have that example in Chaitanya Charitamrita, isn't it? Vasudev Datta. I will take the sins of everyone. You send them back to Godhead. Think about that. You read that and like, oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Imagine you're given that option. Then it's like, oh, not so cool, is it? That's amazingly incredible. Like, who could do that? What kind of level of compassion is that, where you will suffer forever if necessary? Wow. Amazing, right? So yes, we are all selfish on some level, right? So what Krishna Karshani is alluding to is you can't imitate someone who's on a higher level. You have to, it's like I was writing a devotee, said she was saying, like I have so much to do, there's not enough time. What do I do? How do I do? And I said, I said two things. I said, I know if I had 48 hours a day, I would fill up those other 24 with service, so I still wouldn't have enough time. So I don't think there ever is going to be enough time because there's unlimited service. And then I said, well, you can do what Prabhupada did. The way he made more time was sleep less. And then I said, but if you're not on Prabhupada's level, it doesn't work because you sleep less and then you sit down to do your work and you just fall asleep to catch up. And so think about what Prabhupada was doing. He was sleeping 2 hours, maximum 3, usually even sometimes 1.5 to 2, maximum 3 hours, and then getting up. And then he wasn't resting till after lunch. So that wasn't till I think like 1 o'clock or so, let's say. So he's going on 1.5, 2, maximum 3 hours of sleep from midnight almost for 13 hours, for the next 13 hours without rest. And I'm just trying to remember my name now because I'm tired. If I can remember my name, I'm like, oh, well, at least I couldn't be that tired. Then at least I can remember my name. But sometimes you get so tired, you can't even remember anything, isn't it? So for us, and I've tried this, and to minimize sleep like Prabhupada, and 2 things happen. One, I'll just be giving class, and I had to cancel a class halfway through one night because I was falling asleep. I was talking, and they were translating, and while they were translating, and then I wake myself up to say the next thing, and then they translate, I fall asleep. So that's what when you're not on Prabhupada's level, that's what happens. So you try to imitate, but it doesn't work. You just end up sleeping as much as you need anyway, but sometimes it's sleeping in the car, sleeping in your office, right? So it's like we have to have an ideal. That's definitely important. This is the ideal. I would love to be so selfless that I'd be willing to take the karma of the whole world on my shoulders, or willing to take the karma of some of the world on my shoulders. I would love to have that selflessness. But I don't have it now. So I'm concerned about myself. So, you have to act appropriately. And if you don't act appropriately, it gets you into trouble. It's kind of like, you ever see these guys walk on a tightrope, and they put the tightrope between 2 buildings, 2 skyscrapers, and you look down, it's like 50 floors down. You ever seen that? Right? You go, okay, don't try that at home. You can do that when you can do it, but don't try to do it before you can do it. It doesn't work, does it? And so that's the same idea. You have, it's like spiritual tightrope walking, and you've just seen somebody do it, and you're like, yeah, this is the goal, let's do it. No. So you have to acknowledge the goal, but then you acknowledge who you are, what you can do. But it's not wrong to meditate on the goal. It's not wrong to desire the goal. It's just wrong to think I could be on that level before I'm on that level. That's a mistake. And then the other mistake is not that you think you could get on that level before you are, but the other mistake is you actually think you are on that level and you're not. And then you start acting like you're on that level. And that creates havoc for you and everyone who contacts you. Sometimes a devotee is placed in a position of authority. And when they get that service, then they think all of a sudden, magically, mystically, everything has changed. You're still the same person you were yesterday. Now you just have a plaque on your desk that you didn't have yesterday. But so sometimes we think we're greater than we are. So Prabhupada tells a story. He said there was what was it? Some kind of bird, I think. Jackal. I think it was a jackal. You ever hear jackals in Mayapur? They kind of cry. Ah, I forget. If you've been in Mayapur, it's like jackals look like dogs, sort of, but they make this crying sound at night. So there was a vat of dye, blue, it's called indigo, and this jackal fell in the vat, and they all thought he was like some demigod or something. So they all worshipped him and made him the like king of the village. They didn't know what he was. And then something happened. He got upset or something, and then he started making jackal sounds. And then it was a giveaway that he's a jackal. Then everyone's like, oh no, he's just a jackal. We thought he was some, rare species of incarnation or something. Yeah. So if you're doubting whether you're like great or not, doubt no longer. There's a long way to go to be great. Yeah. I don't want to make you demean yourself, but just be realistic. And because if you're not realistic, then you're going to try for something and you're going to terribly mess it up and mess yourself up, possibly. So, that's part of sadhana, is protect yourself. Okay, next question. From Krishna Karshani. If we are created as an image of God and we have all tendencies that he has, does that mean that Krishna is also envious? Yeah. Why not? He was envious of Radharani, wasn't he? Had to come as Lord Chaitanya. It's not fair. You love me more than I love you. And what is this beauty you're attracted to? And what is this your experience? I'm envious of you. That envy has been our greatest benefit, blessing, right? He came as Lord Chaitanya. Because of that, we know about Radharani and all the intimate understandings of Radharani by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his followers. So yeah, it's all there. Don't worry. You'll get it all up there when you go. I have doubts that performing devotional service being anxiety is possible. What Prabhupada meant by anxiety is to be anxious as a antonym to being lazy. But the way I look at it is like, we're anxious, like, what am I going to have for lunch? Will I get fired from my job? What happens if I go to India now? They've opened it up. Will I get coronavirus? What if I get to India and then they won't let anybody out because of the virus? The virus spikes and then I can't get out. So we're in anxiety all the time about so many things. So my thinking was, still is, if there's so much anxiety in this world about how we are going to be happy and safe and secure, and how we'll be, people will like us, it's like, people don't like us. It's just hard to live, isn't it? Aren't you always in anxiety that people will like you, respect you? And so my reasoning was, that anxiety is not going away. That you can deal with it, of course, in a better way, but still, there's going to be some anxiety. So might as well be anxious for Krishna if you're going to be anxious anyway. Okay. So, the purport in the 10th canto, where Prabhupada said, Yosoda, she's in anxiety. Is Krishna going to be protected? Is he going to get enough to eat? And he said, we're also in anxiety that this movement may be destroyed by antagonistic people. We're worried about it. It can't happen, but we're worried about it. So that's the perfection of your anxiety, to be in anxiety for Krishna. Because you're going to be in anxiety anyway, for sense gratification, isn't it? I'm in anxiety. Why? It was all weekend. I didn't get enough sense gratification. And all my friends got more than I did. So that's depressing me. So, yeah. You got to go there this weekend. I hate you. You ever have a friend tells you something they did and you say, I hate you because I wanted to do that and I couldn't. So, you know. Maya says, it helps that you reminded me English language has more meanings for anxiety. Also the positive productive one, different than the translated word in Slovenian. Yeah. I mean, commonly anxiety means stress, but a couple weeks ago, we went to a Rath Yatra and we were organizing with some devotees I know to put a band together to play. And then one of the devotees wrote me and he said, I'm looking forward to this. He also could have said, I'm really anxious to meet you, because we say that also in English. I'm anxious to meet you. It doesn't mean like I'm in anxiety thinking I'm going to have to meet you. It means I can't wait to meet you. So Prabhupada often used anxiety in that sense, like desirous of doing something. Purnisha says, we would say yes because we all know you will definitely say yes. We will follow you. You know, we'll have a big party down in the lower planets where we're all being punished. But I was, you know, I was thinking, you know, like who would be willing to go through torture to save people, like unbearable torture? Not many people could even, what to speak of tolerate it, just conceptualize it. You know, it's like, it's just amazing. And that shows the magnanimity of devotee, of the devotee. And the irony now in the world today is that when we look at religious people, rather than see these kinds of qualities, we often see the opposite. And so people lose faith in religion because they don't see it. They don't see the good manifesting in people. But, you know, when you talk about religion and sadhu, this is it. They will suffer for you. They don't even know you, and they're willing to suffer for you. So, you know, you say, I don't like religion. Okay, I don't like it either. But if this is what real religion is, people who would suffer on your behalf. Do you like that? Wow, that's amazing, right? Okay, we have a few minutes. No, we have 0 minutes. All right. Can you save your questions? Can Tanya save the questions and remind me next time? Okay. We've been stopped in our tracks. Okay.